Hi, Alex here from Redeveloper.com and welcome back to our Christmas calendar tutorial series. And in this episode, I will detail you out how you can create a UI collection view controller real fast with the help of CollectionKit. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and take a look at the previous video where I built out this UI collection view controller in under 2 minutes. Actually, it was 1 minute and 52 seconds. So that was a really fast video and you couldn't quite see what was going on, but you will learn in this tutorial how to actually do this the slower way, but the easier way. Okay, so let's just stop this and let's create this from scratch, and I will explain what I actually did in those 2 minutes. Okay, let's just close this and let's create a new Xcode project. Again, if you already haven't done so, go ahead and download the resources. Just click the link down below and you can take a look at the custom Xcode project template that I will use. So let's open that up. Let's create a new project here. And I'm using the single view application from Redeveloper. Basically what this does, and I also have a tutorial on the channel how I created all of this. This basically removes the main.storyboard. Okay, let's hit next now and let's name our product. If you take a look at the resources, there are some awesome templates that make CollectionKit, and that is an awesome GitHub repository that make CollectionKit much easier. Okay, and I will embed it in a navigation controller, and the root view controller, it will be a newsfeed controller because we are going to imitate a newsfeed. So let's click on that. Let's create a new folder and I will name this CollectionKit Pro. Okay, let's create it and let's add here code. Okay, and finally, let's create it. There we go. We have our Xcode project ready, and now what we need to do is basically get rid of this newsfeed controller because this is a UI view controller, and what we want to use is CollectionKit's collection view controller. So let's just get rid of this. Let's delete it and let's move it to trash. And that is it. Let's close it because all we have to do now is install CocoaPods and use CollectionKit. Okay, so let's open up terminal here, and I already have it open. So let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's type in CD if you already aren't in the root folder, and let's oh, not that one, we need to have this one. Okay, let's drag and drop it there. As you can see, there it is, and hit return. Now we need to create our pod file. So let's type in a pod init, and that will create our pod file. Pretty straightforward stuff. Let's open it up, and what we need here is iOS12, and this is not mandatory, but we are going to use tiny constraints in later on videos, so that requires iOS12, so that's that. Let's add our pod file, our pod CollectionKit. And while we are here, we still need a wobble animation. So let me just go ahead and copy that out because it's testing CollectionKit code. And let's open up this pod file. And that is needed for one wobble animator, and that is a sub-prospect of our CollectionKit. So let me just close that and paste that in there. So that's it. Those 2 pods will be more than enough. Let's close this and then type in pod install to install those 2 dependencies. Great. We are ready and we have our, let me just go back here, we have our CollectionKit Pro Xcode workspace. Okay, let's open that up. Let me resize this so you may see what's going on. Okay, let's go, and as you can see, we have only the app delegate. Okay, what we need to do first is create some files. And if you already haven't done so, go ahead and take a look at the resources. Let me just scroll all the way back to our resources that you have just downloaded. As you can see here, we have some templates. We have some file templates and project templates. Now in this project template, I have the single view application template, a project Xcode template, and here we have our file templates for our CollectionKit, and it's base, controller, and section. So those two file templates, free file templates, will be available. But where can you add all of these? So let's go to that. Let's open up a new folder here. And let's go where we need to add those. So let's go to our library and then select developer, Xcode. And if you don't have this templates folder, then you can just simply copy and paste all of these resources that you just got. If not, then go ahead and go into the file templates and add this CollectionKit file templates collection. Okay, so that's that. Once you do this, and I also have YouTube videos on this, on how to create all of these templates. Once you do this, you will have available some new file options. So let's go and select new file here. And if you just scroll all the way down till you see CollectionKit, here you can see we have base, controller, and section, those three that we have just added. Now, first of all, we need to create a base, and we will be talking about this in just a moment, or maybe in a new video. Okay, let's click on next, and it says save as base. So you could type in here anything, it doesn't really matter. What this creates are free Swift files, it's CollectionKit keys, document serializable, and CollectionViewController. So let's tap by selecting all of these three. Let's right click on them and select a new group from selection, and I will name this or whatever you would like. Now, you need to create these free files only once. So these are universal files that you can use to create your UICollectionViewControllers with the help of CollectionKit, of course. Now, next up, we need to actually create a collection controller. Okay, let's create a new file. Scroll all the way down, and controller. So let's click on next. And as you can see here, we have our controller name, and we want to create a newsfeed that has some posts, and for the header, our user maybe, and maybe for a next section, we could have some Facebook posts with Facebook users or whatever. It depends on your preferences or what you want to build out. But everything is a UICollectionViewController. So controller name should be our news feed. And if you recall, I have named newsfeed our app. Let me just select next here and place it in there, so I can show you that in the app delegate we are having this news feed controller as the root view controller. So that's why this news feed controller has been created. So make sure that in the app delegate, when you set the root view controller, then the news feed controller. This is basically the controller that has this UICollectionViewController in it. Well, basically it's a scroll view, but hey, that's that. Okay. Now let's select these two and group them in a new section, and let's call this. Okay, now if you build and run, now you will have some errors because you need to add at least one section to it. Okay, let's create some new files inside this newsfeed controller. Okay, let's just scroll all the way down and see the selection. So let's click on next, and the cell model name and the header model name. Now, if you recall, when we created our newsfeed controller and the newsfeed controller layout for that matter, we had these cell model names and header model names. Now, basically, those are the models that we are going to populate the header and the cells. And InstaUser is my user, so that will be our model, and InstaPost will be the post that will be displayed in our cells. So make sure that these are in singular as the newsfeed, so not InstaPosts or InstaUsers. Well, for the header, of course, there is only one user, one current user, so that makes sense, but make sure that it's InstaPost in singular. So let's click on next, and let's add it to the newsfeed controller folder. Let's create it, and let's create a new group from our selection, and I will name this. Okay, this is the first section in our newsfeed controller. Now, let us just take a look at what we have here. Well, there are some files that we will go through in the next video, but for now, what I did is went into our post manager, and we adjust when we fetch our InstaPost, so we may see some cells there. We just have this for in loop where we create 20 InstaPosts and display them on the UICollectionViewController. So I believe that's that. Let me just select my simulator and build and run, and hopefully that will build and see that we have our collection view controller with the help of CollectionKit. Again, before we do that, let me just show you where you can see CollectionKit. It is from Soy Sauce Lab, and it is awesome, believe me. Go ahead and take a look at the README. But hey, you don't really have to, because you are following this tutorial and it will be much simpler than the usual tutorial. Of course, if you want to tweak and if you want to have even more features and leverage all of the power of CollectionKit, then go ahead and take a look at the README files. So let's go back to our project, and there we go. Here we have in our simulator our 19 cells and our header, and of course I have added a title for the navigation titles and some buttons for navigation. Now that is it. That is what I have built out in the previous video in 2 minutes. Now this was the long of it. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you didn't understand it, no worries, because I will explain all of these files step by step in the next videos. Now that is it for me today. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to get notified of new videos. Now it is your turn. Would you use CollectionKit in your apps? Believe me, you should, but would you use it? Go ahead and comment down below. And that is it for me today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I see you in the next one.